Dear God, thank you for blessing us with another day of life. We are grateful for your watchful care. Please guide and protect us wherever we go. May kindness and help surround us. If we encounter negativity, grant us the strength to focus on your words. Be our shield throughout this day.
Good morning, Ma'am. My name is Eliza B. Cabaltera, and I will discuss about Lesson 18, Violence Against Women and Their Children Act, or Republic Act number 9262. Here is the lesson objective. At the end of the module, you'll be able to discuss the important provision of VAUSI Act or RA 9262. Understand the details of its commission. Introduction. The Republic Act 9262 or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children, Anti-VAUSI Act 2004 is a result of the strong advocacies of women's human rights in the country. This law was deemed to be a significant victory for all Filipino women as it was based on the right of women not to suffer abuse, discrimination, and violence in their respective relationships. We have important features of the law include number 1, we have 4 kinds of violence against women and children. VAUSI is public crime. Protection order can be issued against the perpetrator. And lastly, stronger community mechanism to respond to cases. Republic Act number 9262, an act defining violence against women and their children, providing for protective measures for victims, prescribing penalties, therefore, and for other purposes. Ano nga ba ang Republic Act number 9262, na kilala rin bilang Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004 ay isang batas sa Pilipinas na naglalayong protektahan ang mga kababaihan at kanilang mga anak mula sa uri ng karahasan tulad ng pang-aabuso, pagpipilit o anumang aktong pumipinsala sa kanilang pisikal, emosyonal o psychological sa kalagayan. Ipinapakita ng batas na ito ang karapatan ng mga babae at kanilang mga anak na mabuhay ng ligtas at malaya mula sa anumang uri ng pang-aabuso. Section 2, Declaration of Policy, it is hereby declared that the state values the dignity of women and children and guarantees full respect for human rights. The state also recognizes the need to protect the family and its member, particularly women and children, from violence and threats to their personal safety and security. Ang Section 2 ng Republic Act number 9262 o Declaration of Policy ay naglalaman ng mga prinsipyo at layunin ng batas. Ito ay nagpapahayag ng patakaran ng pamahalaan na naglalayong protektahan ang mga kababaihan at kanilang mga anak mula sa anumang uri ng karahasan. Layunin ito ng magkaroon ng mga mekanismo at pamamaraan upang mapigilan ang pang-aabuso at maprotektahan ang karapatan ng mga kababaihan at kanilang mga anak. Section 3, Violence Against Women and Their Children. Any act or a series of acts committed by any person against woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom the person has or had a sexual or dating relationship, or with whom he has a common child, or against her child whether legitimate or illegitimate, within or without the family abode, which result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering or economic abuse, including threats of such acts, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Physical violence refers to acts that include bodily or physical harm. Ang pisikal na karahasan ay ang paggamit ng pisikal na puwersa upang masaktan, saktan o idulot ng pinsala sa ibang tao. Ito ay maaaring magdulot ng mga pasa, sugat o iba pang uri ng pinsala sa katawan ng isang tao. Halimbawa nito ay ang pagpalo, pagtulak, pagbugbog o anumang aksyon na magdudulot ng pisikal na pinsala o sakit na sa ibang tao. Sexual violence refers to an act which is sexual in nature committed against a woman or her child. It includes but is not limited to Ang sexual na karahasan ay anumang uri ng di ka nais-nais na gawain o pwersahang pagpilit na may kinalaman sa sex. Ito ay maaaring maganap sa pamamagitan ng hindi gustong pagsulong sa sexual na gawain, pang-aabuso sa sexual na paraan, pwersahan pakikipagtalik, panggagahasa o anumang iba pang pwersahang aktibidad na may kinalaman sa sex na labag sa kagustuhan. Psychological violence refers to act or omission causing or likely to cause mental or emotional suffering of the victim, such as but not limited to intimidation, harassment, stalking, damage to property, public ridicule or humiliation, repeated verbal abuse, and mental infidelity. Ito naman ay karahasan ng paggamit ng mga salita, kilos o mga gawain na nagdudulot ng trauma, takot at pagka-depress, pagkabahala o anumang pinsala sa emosyonal at mental na kalusugan. Ito ay maaaring maganap sa pamamagitan ng pangungutya, pang-aalipusta, pang-iinsulto, pang-iinis, pangbabanta, pang-aabuso sa emosyonal na paraan at iba pang paraan ng pambubuli.
So, good morning, ma'am. I am Regine Rivera. So, this is the continuation po. So, economic violence. It refers to acts that make or attempt to make a woman financially dependent, which includes but is not limited to the following. So, first is battery. Battery refers to an act of inflicting physical harm upon the woman or her child, resulting to the physical and psychological or emotional distress. So, for example, ako ngayon, tinapunan kita ng kumukulong tubig, tapos sinadya ko, so pwede mo kong kasuhan ng battery. Kasi ang battery is an unlawful application of force directly or indirectly upon another person or their personal belongings, causing bodily injury or offensive contact. Second is battered woman syndrome. It refers to a scientifically defined pattern of psychological and behavioral symptoms found in women living in battering relationships as a result of cumulative abuse. So, ang mga battered woman syndrome is considered subcategory of post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. Sila din po yung mga babaeng maaaring makaramdam ng kawalan ng pag-asa. Ito ay maaaring maging sanhi ng maling paniniwala nila na hindi nila deserve abusuhin kung kaya't hindi sila makaalis sa sitwasyon nila. So, third is stalking. So, stalking naman, it refers to an intentional act committed by a person who, knowingly and without lawful justification, follows the woman or her child or places the woman or her child under surveillance directly or a combination thereof. So, when it comes to stalking naman, siguro familiar na naman sa atin ito, di ba? Sino ba naman matutuwa na may stalker ka? Nakakatakot yun. Kaya as of now, may kaso na rin ang pang-stalk. Dahil sa pang-stalk, pwede na rin itong gamitin sa atin para masiraan tayo. Like yung pictures natin, kukunin nila din, huhubadan, yun na yung mga uso ngayon. Fourth is dating relationship. It refers to a situation wherein the parties live as husband and wife without the benefit of marriage or are romantically involved over time and on a continuing basis during the course of the relationship. Next is sexual relations. It refers to a single sexual act which may or may not result in the bearing of a common child. So ito naman ang magkarelasyon na walang intensyon na magpakasal o dalawang tao lang po sila na may asawa ang maaaring magkasundo ng pakikipagtalik outside of the marriage ay ayos lang. So kung baga, may mabuting usapan sila. Ganon. Safe place or shelter. It refers to any home or institution maintained or managed by the Department of Social Welfare and Development or by any other agency or voluntary organization accredited by this WD for the purposes of this act or any other suitable place the resident of which is willing temporarily to receive the victim. So, dito naman po, tinatanggap ang mga biktima, for example, na rape ako, then may safe place sila para sa akin. Yun po yun. So, last but not the least is the children. It refers to those below 18 years of age or older but are incapable of taking care of themselves as defined under Republic Act number 7610 as used in this act. It includes the biological children of the victim and other children under her care. So sila naman po yung mga minor de edad na mahina na nasa panganib na gumawa ng mga gawain ng isang kriminal because of personal, family, and social circumstances. Yun po. So, we have here the century of approach. First, relationship, past or present. Second, married or not. Third, living or not. Fourth, sexual or dating relationship. And last, including lesbian relationships with the common child. Also, the liable persons on violence against women and their children. First, husband or ex-husband, boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, father of the woman's child, any person with whom the woman has had a sexual or dating relationship. Protection order. A protection order under the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children law is defined as an order issued for the purpose of preventing further acts of violence against a woman and her child is specified in section of this act and granting other necessary relief. So, kung baga, ang mga biktima sa ilalim ng Violence Against Women and Their Children Act ay maaaring humingi ng pansamantala o permanenteng pangangalaga dahil may karapatan naman sila. Rights of victim survivors or violence against women and their children cases. Section 35. Rights of victim in additional to their right under existing laws, victims of violence against women and their children shall have the following rights. Duties of National and Local Government Office. Section 39 of RA 9262 provides for the creation of the Interagency Council on Violence Against Women and Their Children law, which shall formulate gender-sensitive programs and projects according to their respective agency mandates, including building programs for their employees. Sila naman ang gumagawa ng mga batas to support the Constitution at marami pa. Section 47, Duties and Function of Barangay Officials in order to eliminate violence against women and their children. Barangay Official Show. So, sila naman yung dapat magampanan nila yung katungkulan nila sa barangay, lalo na kapag may nangangailangan. Yun po yung gampanin nila. Okay, so this is the summary of our lesson po. The Violence Against Women and Their Children Act is a landmark legislation championing the cause of women. This specific law pertains to specific violations captured as 4 acts of violence defined in the law. The Violence Against Women and Their Children law is a comprehensive legal framework that provides protection to women and their children from all forms of violence. This law recognizes that violence against women and children is a violation of their human rights, and it is a crime that must be punished. So that's all po. I hope you learned, and thank you for listening.